I was like Jim Marshall, he got 3 pictures of Dylan kicking the tire down the street. If you look at his contact sheet, there's 3 pictures. And the one we all know is the first one. But he got it. Yeah. He got it. Or another, Jim Marshall did the picture the photo of Mr. Cash giving the finger and San Quentin.
Yeah.
And years later, John Carter and I were talking about the photographer. He was referred to as Marshall. So if you ever heard anybody talk about Marshall, it was Jim Marshall. And I never met Jim, but we had a lot of mutual friends. And John said, I always heard this happened, but I've never understood that. And I'm like in this position going, I know how that happened. Do I tell his son how I think it happened? And John Carter had not seen the proof sheet.
Okay.
That Jim's estate released a series of proof sheets, a book called Proof, after he died. So you actually see the process of how the photograph was taken.
Okay.
And which, as a photographer, is just endlessly fascinating. So here's the picture. Here's John giving the first finger to Jim Marshall. And I'd always heard that Jim told John, okay, give me one more for the warden. And there's a little extra motion in the picture. That's shot 3. Jim Marshall took 3 shots of Johnny Cash giving the finger. And the third one, he gives a little extra motion, a little extra snarl.
Right.
And says, that's the picture.
Wow.
So all these stories that John Carter had heard, that I had heard, they were all true, but they were all taken from different perspectives.
Wow.
And to be able to actually present that to John, oh, and by the way, it's in this book. You can see the process of the. It was like,
it's so beautiful.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Later on, I'm thinking about it's like having that conversation with John Carter about the Highline Ballroom. It's like, did I just talk to John Carter Cash about my favorite Johnny Cash bootleg? I guess I did. So
yeah. God, the experiences are not. Man, I'm really looking forward to your book when it comes out, and we're gonna go back and relink all this stuff kind of at the top of the episode and stuff for when all this stuff comes out. So what's your social handles? What's the best way to find you?
It is Daniel Coston Photos on Instagram.
Okay.
It's at Daniel Coston on Twitter, hashtag Daniel Coston on Twitter. Please hit me up on Twitter. I need to use it more often. I'm more of an Instagram, Facebook person or a blog.
I forget about Twitter.
Yeah. My main site is my blog, which is Daniel Coston. Well, it goes danielcoston.blogspot.com. I also have a couple different event photo websites, one for events and one for music. You can link to that from danielcoston.com or on Facebook. It's just Daniel Coston. My picture is always my late cat because he's much cuter than I am and still is. And I'm here and there, and
awesome.
everywhere.
Yeah, dude. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man.
This has been really great.
Thank you.
Absolutely. It's one of the things with this podcast. We try to get a whole bunch of different kinds of people on here. That's the whole point. And you're different than anybody else that we've had on here so far. So. We're all smiles.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, man.
I am a little different. So
yeah,
I've been told that.
Oh no, it's all good, man. It's perfect.
Hey man, if you weren't doing what you're doing, you wouldn't be a little. You wouldn't be a little different if you weren't doing what you're doing, or you wouldn't do what you do.
You wouldn't do what you do nowhere near as well either.
Oh, thank you.
You know what
Thank
I mean?
you.
Like, if we're a little crazy, we're probably doing something right.
Well, crazy even in a nice way.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah.
In a good way.
It
helps.
There's something a little off in there. And it makes you say, I've got to stare at this thing forever until I figure it out.
Well, for years,
that's good.
Thank you. I've often said, I'm not mad. The world is mad.
Yes.
I'm just doing what I do. I'm just playing my game.
That's awesome, man. Well, dude, thank you so much for being on the show, man.
Thank you.
He's so much fun, man. Rate, review, share the podcast, do all the podcasting stuff. Your rates and reviews are like our credit score. So please make sure to check it out. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Thanks, y'all.
I wish you would rate my podcast and be a friend.